everybody. Welcome to Pushing the Limits. I am your guest host, Ryan Shedd. Thank you, Brian, for having me on and letting me guest host for you. We got quite a show. Ron Filipkowski has agreed to be my first guest on my substitute teacher thing here. So we got a lot to talk about. Robert Mueller passed away, and Trump's response was typical. And today he's declaring victory in Iran, which we all kind of thought was coming. And there was a pretty nasty air crash, or Air Canada plane crashed. So, yeah, we got that video and a little more information coming out about that. And then today there was an airport in Newark had a ground stop issued because there was smoke in the control tower. So Sean Duffy doesn't seem to be doing a good job. Can we get Pete Buttigieg back as transportation secretary? I liked things better back then. I don't know about you. So with that, I would love to bring on our first guest. I have Ron Filipkowski here, who is a frequent guest of the show and friend of Brian. So, sir, I'm so glad I get to talk to you. Thank you for agreeing to come on today.
Sure. Happy to do it. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, finally. I wanted to say too, I've had to follow you like 3 or 4 times on Twitter.
Really?
And I'm pretty sure you're not removing it and I'm not removing it. So it's really interesting. I wanted to pivot that and ask you, are you seeing a lot of censorship right now? Like some of us are, and I'm just wondering if you, who is a much bigger account than a lot of us and have a large platform with Midas Touch, are you guys seeing the same thing?
Asen complains about it. Said it, who's our digital guy who does most of our clips. He says that he has noticed that this has happened. I think that I'm not sure, because I think the reason why it doesn't affect me that much is because, like, yeah, I have a lot of followers, but the followers that I have include like a lot of really huge accounts and media people and elected officials. So
yeah,
sometimes my stuff will like get off to a slow start, but then it just like picks up and then it goes and goes. And I think that that's because the people who follow me all have big accounts. So it's not like the people who follow me have like 10 followers, they have 1 million themselves. So,
yep.
I can just kind of break through any kind of like shadow banning that's happening. But I know Asen has definitely complained about it. Yeah.
Yeah. We all go to his account too. So, or their account, I should say. Sorry. So we're both veterans. I wanted to make sure that we talk about Iran real quick. But before that, another fellow veteran that we lost on Friday, Robert Mueller. He had quite the list of decorations from the military, so he was definitely an honorable man from start to finish. And I just wanted your thoughts of him passing, and then, of course, we're going to talk about Trump's response.
Yeah, it seems like we age in dog years here during the Trump, because that seems like a month ago, and it was like 2 days ago.
I know.
So much happened. Like, I was just posted about that today. Like, they never leave us alone, even on the weekends, like holidays. Like, Trump never leaves us alone. It's something every single day. So when Mueller's death was announced, it was Saturday morning, right early, and all the our text like chain at Midas just blew up because everybody said the same thing. Oh boy, what's Trump gonna do? Because we know him. We know what he did when Rob Reiner died, right? He posted a disgusting, celebrated his death. And, the MAGA movement got, 4,000 people fired for making comments about Charlie Kirk, saying that they were happy that people were getting fired from their careers and they were going after him. But here we have their leader who does it constantly himself. So, Robert Mueller is a guy with an impeccable record. He was a Republican appointee as Attorney General, not a Democratic appointee. A Bush appointee, George W. Bush, Marine shot in Vietnam, Purple Heart, multiple Bronze Stars, highly decorated guy. His whole, he by the way, he was in an Ivy League school. He's an Ivy League student when Vietnam happened, and he left voluntarily. He wasn't drafted and went to Vietnam from an Ivy League school. So, that really shows the character of the man compared to Trump, right?
Yeah.
Got the bone spurs. So, when Trump posts, I'm glad that he died, it was the typical thing, that Trump does. But that's one. I think it's the number one thing that sort of disappoints a lot of us who can't stand Trump is like, we have run into family members, friends, people that we consider like good people who support this guy. And it's like a mystery to us. Like, how can you support a guy who's this despicable?
Yes. And just seeing all the things he did up to 2016, like they voted for him in 2016, knowing all the things that he had done. They voted for him, those that did in 2020, knowing everything he did in the first term and watching the mass exodus of staff that kept leaving because he didn't know what he was doing. And we've said it time and time again. January 6th was the practice run. And I feel like all the things that we saw and all the holes they needed to have loyalists in, like Department of War and all those things, he's like, that's where I need to have yes people next time we try this. And as a lawyer, I'm wondering, do you feel the same way I do? Like there's just this impending like legal doom hanging over our head.
Yeah. I mean, we're all worried about him messing around with the midterms, for sure. But yeah, I mean, Trump has said this in interviews that he felt his biggest mistake in his first term was his appointments early on, and the fact that he relied so much on the Republican establishment and the leaders of the party to give him names of people.
Wow, I didn't realize
and so, he ended up firing all those people and then firing all the people who took their place and then firing all the people who took their place. I mean, we literally had like 3 or 4 different cabinet officials at every single position. I think except for one, Department of Labor, that was Mitch McConnell's, or Transportation, Mitch McConnell's wife. I think she was the only one who did almost the whole 4 years. She ended up quitting after January 6th, like the next day. But that was like his entire cabinet was a revolving door. So then he has 4 years to prepare. And really what happened during that time, because that's really when I got really big on social media, because I was one of the few people covering him every single day at Mar-a-Lago during that time period when everybody thought he was finished. And that's when all these characters were like hanging around, your Kash Patels, your Grinnells, your Hegseths, your Gnomes, all these people would go down there and hang out. And so I could kind of see like the shadow cabinet forming, Stephen Miller, of course. And they were all just like the most repulsive, disgusting people in the MAGA movement. And that's why I said, look, a second Trump term is going to look nothing like the first one. As bad as the first one was, this crew he's bringing in now are 10 times worse.
Yes. And that's the thing that always concerned me. I said, no matter what, the Supreme Court appointments were going to haunt us for however long his appointments were on there. And I really personally did not anticipate Trump winning again after January 6th. It was just another one of those times that I was wrong. And I was naive to think that enough Americans would say, yeah, he tried to overthrow the election. Maybe we shouldn't put him back in office. Like, he's a convicted felon. Maybe that's not a great idea. He's a business fraud. Maybe we shouldn't give him control of our budget and all these other things. But that leads me to my next question, Iran. Mm-hmm. So Trump let the cat out of the bag, I think yesterday, day before, stating that he isn't the one actually negotiating, we'll call it, with Iran, that it's Jared Kushner and another individual.
Witkoff.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So my question to you, again, from a legal standpoint, does the fact that Trump is not handling these negotiations on his own absolve him in any way of what might happen, or is he still responsible because he's the president?
Yeah, no, I don't think they absolve him at all. But the fact that he's put these two clowns in charge of foreign negotiating the end of wars, I mean, it's been a disaster.
Yeah.
Like look at Ukraine. He promised he was going to end the Ukraine war in 24 hours. He comes in and he appoints Witkoff, who's, Witkoff had no experience in government, never been elected to anything, never had no foreign policy experience whatsoever, no military experience. and he's just a real estate crony of Trump's from New York. They're buddies, you know. And Witkoff, by the way, had extensive real estate dealings with Russia. So he ends up appointing him, and you know, it's been just a mess. And then he brings him over and he puts him in charge of Israel, Gaza, puts him in charge of Iran. No wonder why this is a disaster. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we all knew that Trump was not going to do this because he threatened to. He does these late night Friday crazed posts, which he did. And, I'm going to blow up all the power plants in Iran. And of course, the Achilles heel of all these Middle Eastern countries, including Israel, by the way, is their desalinization plants. They all rely. 70% of the water in Israel goes through a desalinization plant, yes, and sir. It's like 2 plants. So it's very easy if Iran wanted to basically commit a war crime and take out desalinization plants all throughout the Middle East. They could in theory do that very easily. So that's what they announced. They said, okay, you bomb our power plants, we're going to bomb your desalinization plants. So and all the experts knew at that point, like, Trump is going to back down.
Yep.
It's just, what excuse is he going to come up with? So he comes up with it this morning that supposedly Witkoff and Kushner are, hot on the heels of a peace deal, which Iran, by the way, completely denies.
I was about to say, I was surfing your page this morning and you posted something. Was it it's one of the high leaders or somebody with direct connection to the supreme leader. Yeah. And they're like, no, there's nothing going on.
Yeah. But the speaker of their parliament.
Thank you.
Of their legislature. Yeah. I mean, they instantly look, a couple things to notice, by the way. Here's how this played out. At about 6:50 this morning, trading in the futures market spiked. The volume of trading went way up in both stocks and in oil. There was a lot of unusual activity.
Okay.
15 minutes later, this is reported by CNBC. 15 minutes later, Trump issues his Truth Social post that he's calling off the attacks and peace talks are underway, and the market goes crazy and just spikes, goes way up. Oil, the price of oil goes down, stock market goes up. So there's a lot of people who knew something 15 minutes before Trump made the announcement and who made a lot of money in about a half an hour. Yep. So there's a lot of market manipulation going on here. We saw it with tariffs. Trump did the same thing, make tariff announcements, then, withdraw the tariff announcements. And it just so happened that there was all these people buying stocks right before he would make these big announcements. And we're seeing it with war now. It's the same thing. And so, yeah, I think that the Iranian officials, every single Iranian official has completely denied this. They say, we are not talking to them. We are not in peace talks, So, and Trump was asked this morning, he was asked, who is the person in Iran that you guys are talking to? Can you name the official? He said, oh, no, I don't want to say his name. Okay.
Because you don't know, because you're not the one negotiating.
Yeah,
you don't even,
or there isn't a name,
or that
you're just lying.
And correct me if I'm wrong, please. But didn't that same post say something along the lines of they want revenge?
Yeah, sure. They said, we're not done. I don't think Iran is going to end this war. Trump is going to end this before Iran does. That's what I predict. I predict at some point Trump is just going to declare victory. Claim that he won, claim that they've accomplished all their objectives and back out. But I do not think that Iran is going to stop. I don't think Iran is going to stop, is going to just open up the straits just because Trump says it's over.
Nope.
And I don't think they're going to stop striking targets in Israel and other places around the Middle East. So, basically what their position is, well, Trump can say whatever he wants, but, we're going to decide when this is over.
You started it. We're going to finish it.
You started it. And look, they killed the entire leadership of their government and the head of their head religious cleric, the head of their religion was also assassinated by Israel with Trump's permission. So you think they're just going to go, oh, let's let bygones be bygones. It's all good. We'll move on. Hell no. This is going to haunt us for 20 years. They're going to be doing terrorist attacks 20 years from now based on what Trump is doing right now.
I'm so glad. Well, not glad. Glad's the wrong word. It's nice to hear somebody say the same thing I've been saying, which is I don't think a lot of Americans understand that Trump just started a religious war,
Exactly.
which makes it that much more dangerous.
Yep.
And I agree with everything you just said.
And look, Hegseth says it too. He's talking about crusades and Christian holy warriors. I mean, they're doing everything they can to antagonize the Shiite world.
Yes.
So that's why, yeah, you're right. I mean, there's going to be 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, there are going to be bombings happening of Americans because of Donald Trump.
Yep.
Long after Donald Trump is dead and gone.
A lot of these people that are putting us in these positions are going to be lucky to be here in 5 years. And meanwhile, we're all going to have to live with this stuff for decades. That is one of the things that frustrates me personally, like all day, every day. It's like, can we get somebody in there that thinks about the generations behind them, please? Like, it's just insane. The last thing I wanted to ask you is, how did it make you feel watching Donald Trump at the dignified transfer of our fellow brothers and sisters, wearing a hat and then using it for a fundraising email?
Yeah, I mean, we were the ones who broke the story on the fundraiser thing, and then after because we have a guy who does nothing but monitor their fundraising, all their emails, all their things. So he does stories every day on what they do. It's the Patriot Takes Account, right? JD Wolf is the guy's name.
Oh yeah.
So he broke the story on that, and then New York Times, CNN, everybody picked up on it, so it became a big deal. But my first thought was going back to when Biden was checking his watch at the one dignified transfer, and that Fox did like a month straight of segments on that, and here we have their guy, wearing a hat, and then they show like a fake. They don't want to show him. By the way, Fox never ever once put on the Robert Mueller Trump post about Robert Mueller.
Nope.
If you only watch Fox, like many people do, you would not even know that Trump did that. They never mentioned it. They talked about George W. Bush's statement about Mueller, never mentioned Trump's statement. Same thing with the dignified transfer. They tried to go multiple news segments showing an old footage of Trump at a different, because they didn't want to show him wearing the hat. And then they got called out by multiple media outlets. And then they were like, oh, we're sorry. We played the wrong video. But they still never played the hat, with him wearing the hat. So even Fox knew how bad it was. So, yeah, I mean, just me as a Marine, any veteran, I think it hits them even harder to see stuff like that. I'll tell you, the main thing he does that really bothers me as a veteran is when him and Hegseth and Vance, all three of them do it, when they give these partisan political speeches in front of active duty troops on their bases.
Yes.
I couldn't even, Reagan was president, for when I was in, and then H.W. Bush. I couldn't imagine in a million years either one of them getting up there and like trashing the Democratic Party on our base while we're in uniform. But these guys do it all the time, and that's a very dangerous thing. Introducing partisan, like they'll get up there and trash Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer in front of troops on a military base. That is the thing that I think bothers me even more than the dignified transfer stuff.
I'm glad you put that out there, because I don't think a lot of people really understand the disrespect, but more importantly, the division that causes within the ranks.
Yeah,
that could be your life,
because when we're in, like, we're not really supposed to talk about politics.
Nope.
Like even in the barracks and stuff, whenever I would do it, because I was a junkie, they would tell me to knock it off. I mean, not a drug junkie, but a political junkie. Even back then I was, but they would tell me, hey, don't you take that somewhere else. Like we're not gonna do that here. And so you're not supposed to be partisan in any way.
No.
You can't wear your uniform to political events, all that kind of, there's all kinds of rules.
Yep.
So yeah, when they get up there and do that, it's offensive, but it's also dangerous. It's dangerous to try and get the military to side with one party against another.
Yeah, absolutely. Sir, I wanted to thank you again for coming on. I'm so glad that I finally got to chat with you. I hope it's not the last time. So thank you for being so generous with your time. But more importantly, thanks for everything you do, because I go to your pages and Midas Touch and Patriot Takes and all you guys. I go there a lot. So thank you for everything y'all do.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Guys, Ron Filipkowski, a frequent friend of the show. Again, I really appreciate him coming on, because as some of you may or may not know, this is my first time doing a show completely on my own, although I do have the amazing crew in the comments keeping me on task here. So I wanted to start talking about some of these videos and things going on. As you heard Ron and I talking, Trump's come out and said crazy things this morning. We have the actual posts that Trump did, and I want to read them. And he literally calls the left, people like me and Democrats, calls us the enemy. Again, I can't imagine a president, a Democrat president, going around and calling half the country their enemy and Republicans not losing their mind. But for some reason, it seems to be okay when old Donnie does it. But the first thing I want to talk about is probably one of the biggest news stories going on right now, which is the Air Canada crash that happened. For those of you who do know me, you know that I was an aircraft mechanic for years. So, airplanes, I kind of dork out over them, and this kind of stuff, it always fascinates me. That said, taxiway incursions are a huge problem at airports. And this one is particularly bad because the air traffic controller gave the fire truck permission to cross the runway. So he realized pretty quickly that he had made a mistake and tried to get them to stop. But unfortunately, it just was too late at that point. And so it's been confirmed that the two pilots lost their lives. I believe none of the first responders on the ground, I believe a couple of them were injured. And then it was 75 people, I believe, that were hurt. So tragic loss of life. It definitely didn't need to happen. But unfortunately, it's one of the reasons air traffic controllers, it's a tough job. And I feel for the person that made that call and made that mistake, because they unfortunately have to live with that. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a very empathetic way. They got to live with that. So, yeah, definitely feeling for them. With that, we have the footage. I want you all to see how fast something like this can happen. It literally takes 3 seconds of a mistake, and it can cause something like this. So as you see, it's right there. Yeah, that's terrible. And I believe we also, what I want you all to hear, though, we actually have the audio of the air traffic controller. And so you can, now that you've seen that and how fast it happened, now listen to the air traffic controller, and it really gives you a sense of just how instant it was.
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower, requesting to cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, crossing 4 at Delta.
Frontier 4195, just stop there, please. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop.
By then, it had already happened.
603, go around, runway heading 2000. Jet 646. Jet 646, I see you collide with a vehicle here, just hold position. I know you can't move. Vehicles are responding to you now.
Is the runway closed?
Del 2603, go around, runway heading 2000.
Heading 2000, go around, Del 2603.
Tower.
Truck 2, runway 4 is closed, correct?
Yes, go
You can
on.
hear him say he messed up. Give it a second.
Frontier 4195, I got the word that we're going to be closed for a little while. If you want to prepare to return to the ramp, let me know.
Yeah, we got stuff in progress for that, man. That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my stuff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier, and I messed up.
To hear him say, I messed up. Yeah, you knew it instantly. So, like I said, I feel bad for him and everybody involved, because that was nasty. That was definitely nasty. Not something that we want to see. And like I have a couple of good friends that are pilots and stuff, and they tell me that's like the one thing that it really is one of the biggest dangers, is somebody being on the runway, because for most of the time you don't have like control. You're just slowing down, and if something gets in your way, that's it. So with that, I wanted to pivot into the recent ICE stories. So TSA is still not funded because Republicans refuse to vote on a standalone bill. So they're leveraging Democrats, trying to make it sound like it's their problem. Excuse me. And instead, it's the Trump administration and Republicans who are actually creating the problem. And they're saying they won't vote for it unless they put ICE funding in it as well. So it's not Democrats causing this problem. And I think a lot of us kind of saw where it could be going. And unfortunately, last night at about 10 p.m., and this is just one that we have filmed, there could be others, but there is a woman being, I'm going to call it attacked, at San Francisco airport, and it is ICE detaining her and separating her from her daughter. Take a look.
Thousands have called out sick. Many are unable to pay for their cars, gas, childcare, or rent due to the shutdown. It's making it so they can't even afford to come to work right now, which of course they haven't been getting paid for more than a month. That's why President Trump decided to send hundreds of ICE officers into the airports that are greatly impacted, like here in Atlanta. Mayor Andre Dickens says those officers are meant to help with crowd control and line management. They are not supposed to conduct any immigration enforcement. We have seen a handful of them already here this morning, and travelers we spoke to say they feel for the TSA agents, but they also feel like this is even worse than they were expecting.
Seemed like I didn't sleep last night to get here to the airport. It's unfortunate, but hey, I got to do what I got to do. If I had the means, I'd pay everyone right now, but I can't. But I would. It's crazy. I don't blame them.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because they're hardworking individuals.
It's been crazy.
For about an hour and a half.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of uncomfortable, the situation, but what can we do in this day and age? I expect anything.
A lot of.
So you heard in that clip that Donald Trump said they're not supposed to be conducting any kind of immigration, just crowd control, basically. Yet we have this video.
What's your name? Show the badge. Where's the badge?
Where's your bag?
Can someone call 911? Where's your badge? Can I see?
It's like an 8-year-old girl.
Can I see your badge?
Maybe.
I don't know if that's legitimate. Can I see your badge number, sir? What is your name? What is your name? Where's your badge number? I'm asking for your badge number, sir. What is your badge number?
So that looks a lot like them detaining people.
What is your badge number?
And seeing as people are asking for their badge, like it looks like she's
Show your badge number.
being kidnapped.
This is an illegal arrest. Show the badge number.
Okay, we'll wait.
I need to see your badge
Step
number.
back.
I don't know who you are. You could be someone kidnapping us.
Yeah, look at that. A backpack, a Carhartt hoodie. Like, yeah, who are you? Am I the only one that thinks that's crazy? They're literally picking people up. So now when you see that, it starts to make sense, doesn't it? it starts to make sense that the Republicans don't want to fund TSA because he wants to send ICE so that he can start picking them off one by one at the airport. Because that's exactly what's happening. Now, here's what I want you all to marinate on for a little bit. If we can fund ICE agents going to airports to do what they're doing, I would think that we would be able to fund TSA agents doing their job, because I'm pretty sure they're paying those ICE agents more than the TSA agents. Just saying. It seems interesting that we can pick and choose what we want to fund. Look, I hate saying this. I really do. But we were right about this. Democrats, all the liberals, Ron Filipkowski, everybody that came out and said, if you put this dude in office again, we are going to see a dictatorship-like administration. And that's exactly what we've seen. We've seen a guy that's done everything he pointed his finger at Democrats and Obama and Biden and everybody else and said, look at what they're doing. This is what they would do if they wanted to win an election. And then he turns around and does it. He said Obama and Biden were going to attack Iran so that they could stay in office. Yet that's what he did. So I hope we're all paying attention, because Iran is not going to stop what they're doing. Okay? Nope. Go ahead and put that up. Let's watch the next clip, because it gets crazier.
I think it's terrible what's happening. I'm glad the president's put ICE in there for a multitude of reasons. That'll drive the Democrats crazy. But at the end of the day, somebody's got to step up and ensure that our air travel continues, or you're going to see even further damage to our economy, which, again, in my opinion, is what the Democrats want. Well, yeah, but I think it's...
What? So... Somebody help me understand this. How is everything the Democrats' fault, especially when we don't control the House, we don't control the Senate, we don't control the presidency, shit, we don't even control the Supreme Court. So how is it always our fault? And why do we allow these people like Comer to come on here and gaslight us all and say, oh, I'm glad this is happening? You're glad people are getting picked up at airports? Like, no warrants? No, they're not even wearing any type of uniform, no badge out, like Carhartt hoodies and backpacks? Are you kidding me? But don't worry, they're not sending ICE to the airports to do anything like what we just saw. Don't believe your lying eyes, everybody. Don't believe what you hear, because it's just all fake news and it's all TDS or whatever they want to call it for the day. Speaking of TDS, I don't know if this is a good transition or not, but I wanted to circle back to Robert Mueller. As we watch the country literally crumble and we see the second administration be even worse than the first, it really does make me reflect on the fact that Robert Mueller warned us that he spent the very last part of his career trying to do what he thought was the honorable thing, which was to figure out, did Russia meddle in the 2016 election? And did Donald Trump or anybody in his circle have anything to do with it or benefit from it? And as much as Trump wants to deny it and his voters want to deny it, the fact remains that the report said, yes, Russia meddled in the 2016 election. And no, it was not to help Hillary Clinton. It was to help Donald Trump. Now, I want you to see the president's response when we found out this literal war hero and honorable public servant passed away. Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people. President Donald J. Trump. I'm glad I can't swear on this show. Boy, I'm glad I can't swear. Again, let me just start from a veteran standpoint. If you don't know who Robert Mueller was, please go, don't listen to me. I'm not trying to start a cult. I just like fact checking one. Okay? Go look up his military record. Just that. Don't look up anything else. Don't look up his history as an AG or all the other accomplishments because they're long. He had a very nice resume. Go look up his military record. Go look up that he had a Bronze Star with Valor. Take it from another veteran. They don't hand those out very easily. Well, Trump does. But before him, they didn't hand those out very easily. And to see a man of that caliber that literally dedicated a majority of his life to public service in one way, shape, or form, be attacked by such a disgusting, unaccomplished, inflated ego, sexual predator, felon, epic business fraud. I mean, stole money from everybody. He's a nothing. He's literally an empty shell that just spouts whatever he needs to get the attention and the acceptance that he wants, right? And that's not what's good for America. That's not what's good for us. And to see public servants like that be disparaged, to see dignified transfer and the president show up dressed in a disrespectful way, it's just infuriating, y'all. And the other thing I wanted to touch on too, while we're talking about veterans and Iran and all of this, and like Ron said, that he's just going to declare victory and move on. And I think that's already started. Like, and the reason I think that is we have a tweet where he cites the death of Iran. Now, again, when you see these tweets, it's incredible to me that it's coming from the president of the United States. So the tweet says, now, with the death of Iran, the greatest enemy America has is the radical left. Moi. Highly incompetent Democratic Party. Thank you for your attention in this matter. Like, was that even worth the tweet? Was that even worth the time? But again, he is calling us the greatest enemy that America faces. Democrats. Call it what it is. He may say radical left, but he throws Democrat in there. He literally says Democratic Party. So the greatest enemy that America faces is the Democratic Party. So let me translate this for y'all in a different way. This is what the Second Amendment was written for. Okay? Do I need to say anything else? When the government calls half of the country an enemy of the people, yeah, that's what the Second Amendment was written for. So make sure you pay attention, because it's just getting started. If you think it can't get worse than it is right now, oh, it's going to. Gas is going to go up even higher. And costs of groceries and cost of living in general is going to keep going up. And again, go research it yourself. Don't just listen to us here. The economy is not looking great. The reason Donald Trump didn't want to release all the reports for jobs and inflation and all this stuff is because it's a telltale of how good of a job he's doing. And they're releasing corrected reports that are showing very little to no job growth, that he's increasing the deficit at record pace, and there's no stop in sight. So, yeah, Don't just take my word for it, y'all. Oh, I think we're going to try to take a break here for a second. I think I get a break, don't I? I don't know. Am I on union time? I need to know if I'm on union time. But no, listen, guys, I'm actually looking forward to taking some phone calls and actually getting to interact with you. We do have more videos for you. But yeah, definitely looking forward to continuing this conversation. I think Justin's not talking to me in the comments, so I'm going to keep talking until he tells me that I get a break. Oh, I hear music. Break is okay. Let's do it. All right, everybody. I'm going to go take a quick break. We will be right back, so don't go anywhere. I need to do it tomorrow.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Remy Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helps Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helps Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
You are way too smart, way too talented, way too good to be where you are. You are meant to be making way more money, feel way hotter in your body, and having way more fun. Hi, I'm Nicole Mitchell, and I'm a life coach. I help you get hotter and richer. If that is what you're looking for, you can find me at NicoleMitchell.com. My name, Nicole, is with a K, NicoleMitchell.com. You can reach out to me on my website or on Instagram, and I will be happy to be in touch and figure out what you're looking for.
Oh, man. Welcome back to Pushing the Limits. I am your guest host and much better looking host, Ryan Shedd, filling in for Brian Shapiro as he shows up to debate some. He's actually here in Arizona. He's like 2 hours away, which is funny. So, welcome back, guys. We've got a few more videos to get through, and then I believe we're going to start taking some phone calls, which should be interesting. It's going to be my first time doing that on air. Yeah. Hopefully there's a censor button. I wanted to go back real quick to Iran because this morning Trump has been saying things that I think we need to highlight. It's important to highlight that everything he says is being debunked by everybody else he claims is involved. So he's saying that, Iran called him, they made a deal. Iran's like, no, we didn't. This dude's crazy. So we have a couple videos that when you play them in order, it's like, it's embarrassing. I don't know any other way to put it. It's embarrassing at this point to say, we're Americans. We voted to put this Muppet in the White House, knowing everything we knew about him. Here we go.
So tomorrow morning sometime, their time, we were expected to blow up their largest electric generating plants that cost over $10 billion to build. It's a very good one. There was no dearth of money. And one shot, it's gone. It collapses. Why would they want that? So they called. I didn't call. They called. They want to make a deal. And we are very willing to make a deal. It's got to be a good deal. And it's got to be no more wars, no more nuclear weapons. They're not going to have nuclear weapons anymore. They're agreeing to that. Any of that stuff, there's no deal.
They didn't have nuclear weapons. And by the way, I thought he bombed Iran's nuclear program back to the Stone Age, that they weren't going to have anything for like the next 10 years. That's the problem with dementia, is you can't remember the lies you told anymore. You can't keep them straight. So the next reporter had a follow-up question, basically calling him out. So let's play that one.
Mr. President, Iran's foreign ministry says you're not telling the truth when it comes to productive conversations to end the war.
Well, they're going to have to get themselves better public relations people. We have had very, very strong talks. We'll see where they lead. We have major points of agreement. I would say almost all points of agreement. Perhaps that hasn't been conveyed. The communication, as you know, has been blown to pieces. They're unable to talk to each other. But we've had very strong talks. Mr. Witkoff and Mr. Kushner had them. They went, I would say, perfectly. I would say that if they carry through with that, it'll end that problem, that conflict. And I think it'll end it very, very substantially. We have very much in mind our partners in the Middle East. We've had great relationships with a lot of them, as you know. A lot of them were surprisingly hit. And I was surprised to see it, and so was everyone else. But we have, they're very much in mind in the discussions. So the discussions took place yesterday. They went into yesterday evening. They want very much to make a deal. We'd like to make a deal too.
Mr. President, Iran.
Now, before I respond to that vague word salad that he had, if you would please put up the tweet from, oh my God, my brain isn't speaking, the Speaker of Iran's parliament. This is the tweet. Iranian people demand complete and remorseful punishment of the aggressors. That's us, by the way. All Iranian officials stand firmly behind their supreme leader and people until this goal is achieved. No negotiations have been held with the U.S., and fake news is used to manipulate the financial and oil markets and escape the quagmire in which the U.S. and Israel are trapped. That doesn't sound like they were holding constructive negotiations, does it? So besides the fact that Iran's completely debunked what he's saying, I really want to highlight, he's not the one having these negotiations. He's not the one on the phone talking to these people. It's Jared Kushner. Like, again, we all kind of know it. We know Stephen Mueller is the puppet master and Jared Kushner's the fixer. Again, I don't know how anybody is still supporting this guy. That's what I would love people to put in the comments, is tell us, are you seeing the Trumpies that used to be in your life? Are they finally coming around? Like, are they finally going, okay, like this dude just went and started a war for no reason after saying he was going to be the no wars president? Again, that's the craziest thing of all, is that this dude literally campaigned on doing the opposite of everything he's doing right now. And I'd love you to also answer in the comments, tell me how Kamala Harris was somehow worse than this. No way would we be in this situation if Kamala Harris was elected. No way would our deficit be climbing quite as bad as it is. I'm not saying it would be great, because the economy, there were other things going on that we can't all blame on Trump. But it wouldn't be increasing the way it is, because we're funding the wars, we're funding the military, we're buying new munitions, like we're sending money all these other places. And just like it happened in 2001, we're going to see spending increase exponentially, because we're going to have to fund everything that's going on. And here we go again. So we were just recovering from COVID financially, and now we have this. Which one's that, Justin? Go ahead and play it. Let's play it.
And then unfortunately I called Pete, I called General Kane, I called a lot of our great people. We have great people. And I said, let's talk. We got a problem in the Middle East. We have a country known as Iran that for 47 years has been just a purveyor of terror. And they're very close to having a nuclear weapon. We can keep going and get that 50,000 up to 55 and 60 is no end. Or we can take a stop and make a little journey into the Middle East and eliminate a big problem. And Pete, I think you were the first one to speak up. And you said, let's do it, because you can't let them have a nuclear weapon. So we are now having real discussions. They started last night, a little bit, the night before that.
So, again, just want to highlight a few things. Again, Trump's lying through his teeth. There have been no negotiations. But I hope you all caught that bus that was backing up over Pete Hegseth when he said, Pete, I believe you were the one that said we should go in there and do this, right? You were the first one. Yeah, I was just listening to you. Hope you understand what's coming your way, Pete, because you're about to take the fall for all of this. Oh, what is this one? Oh, I got it. He says, I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran, this is all in caps, by the way, for those of you who are listening to the audio, and the country of Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East. Based on the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue throughout the week, I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Now, I also just wanted to point out real quick that the reason I paused there is because he spelled witch, W-I-T-C-H, as in Halloween witch, instead of W-H-I-C-H. So I believe Trump actually tweeted that out. All in caps, bad spelling. That one was him. I'm sorry. But I wanted to pivot to the SAVE Act. We've heard about the SAVE Act is here to save America, to save our elections. Here in Arizona, they've come in and tried to take our voter rolls and all of our information and hand it over to the FBI, which again, I'm going to continue to question, why is the FBI handling anything that has to do with voting records, audits, anything? That does not fall under the FBI's jurisdiction in any way, shape, or form, nor are they supposed to be taking that away from states. So luckily, Adrian Fontes, our Secretary of State, he actually has some courage, and along with our awesome AG Chris Mays and our Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs, they're not just going to hand it over willy-nilly. And I think Donald Trump is now realizing that a lot of people aren't going to hand it over willy-nilly, so he has to use a figure to kind of stimulate this happening. And what better figure to use than Jesus?
I'm requesting that the Republican senators do that immediately. You don't have to take a fast vote. Don't worry about Easter going home. In fact, make this one for Jesus, okay? Make this one for Jesus. That's what I tell him. That's would be a damn good.
Make this one for Jesus?
Part of Homeland Security is voter ID and proof of citizenship.
Put me big on the screen, because I need people to see my face when I see this. I am 100% convinced that the Republican Party, specifically MAGA and Trump voters, would have nailed Jesus Christ to the cross themselves and then handed Donald Trump the spear. And I mean that. Y'all are crazy. And the fact that the President of the United States sitting up there and invoking a religious figure to pass legislation, I hope majority of us can agree that that's bad, that does not align with the founding principles of this freaking country. Can we at least agree on that, please? Because the fact that we are starting religious wars while using religion to justify our actions and literally hurt people and take lives, that's about as anti-Jesus as it gets. Now, I try to keep my personal religion out of the politics because it's my personal faith, and I understand what the word faith means. To me, it means I hope that there's a God up there. More importantly, I hope that I get to see my old man again. So that's probably why I cling on to my religion and my faith. That said, my personal beliefs, my personal religion should have zero influence on legislation, on women's choices and their health care, on if transgender people can use a bathroom. Like, it doesn't matter, because that's not what this country was built on. Okay? Just because a dollar bill says "In God we trust" does not mean that we have to insert God in everything in our government, because that really is not the way it was intended to be. So I hope that we can remember that faith is supposed to be a personal journey, a individual experience. It is not meant to dictate other people's lives or the direction of a government. But unfortunately, 8 times out of 10, it's religion that is the reason that we're fighting. So, and all you Catholics out there that want to sit there and talk about Muslims and Iran and all this stuff, again, you might want to go do some research on like the Crusades and, you know, how many people the Christian and Catholic religions have taken over years. But, you know, I digress. With that, I don't know if we're going to we're not going to take a break. We're going to go right into calls. So this is your opportunity, folks, to ask me whatever questions you want or debate or whatever. And remember, I can't curse. So, please don't make me curse. But look, if you want to call in, the number is 702-221-7283. Again, the number to call in is 702-221-7283. We can talk about whatever you want. We can talk about current events. We can talk about Trump. Talk about anything you want. Maybe not maybe not everything, but it's definitely an interesting time, guys. And if you're traveling abroad, please be careful. I have some friends that have been doing an amazing trip that they've gotten to do with their family. They've been gone since like mid-December, but they've been going like all over like Fiji and all kinds of crazy places. And they weren't supposed to come back till like another week or two. And I think they're flying back early because they're that concerned with everything going on. So listen, y'all, we're going to take a quick break. But before we do, remember, call in 702-221-7283, and we will be eagerly anticipating your phone calls.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 4th East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
You are way too smart, way too talented, way too good to be where you are. You are meant to be making way more money, feel way hotter in your body, and having way more fun. Hi, I'm Nicole Mitchell, and I'm a life coach. I help you get hotter and richer. If that is what you're looking for, you can find me at NicoleMitchell.com. My name, Nicole, is with a K, NicoleMitchell.com. You can reach out to me on my website or on Instagram, and I will be happy to be in touch and figure out what you're looking for and how I can support you in getting there.
Here's the deal. The country's a mess, and America's youth is stuck at the center of a tug-of-war between propaganda, billionaires, and political clowns who think TikTok is a national security threat, yet can't open their own email. But the real threat that keeps them up at night isn't TikTok. It's the power of the youth vote, and that's what the Unfuck America tour is after. We're traveling the country, hitting campuses and cities, exposing the right wing's playbook and calling out all the tricks they use to hook young people. We saw the youth vote shift in 2024, and if we don't reclaim that momentum now, we lose the future. Our future. We're not bankrolled by billionaires, corporations, or dark money. We're backed by regular people like you, who won't sit back while the rich strip this country for parts. We need you to help us stay on the road to push back against the misinformation machine. Click the link in the description or head over to unfuckamericatour.com to donate, because nobody else is coming to fix this mess.
Clear Sky Resorts.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? So we have some phone calls lined up. We have Pete, Frank, John, Dave, Andy. So we got some people lined up. So let's get it started. So our first caller is Pete.
We got some people lined up. Get it started. So our first call is Pete.
Hey, buddy, we can hear a little bit of feedback. Is there any way you can turn it down a little bit?
1 second. Yeah, I can do that. 1 second.
Thanks, brother.
Okay, I got it now. And sir, I do apologize. I've watched you a few times, many times. I forgot your first name.
Ryan.
Okay, Ryan. I agree with you 100% about everything you said and about Trump and everything else about the Jesus and all that. And but the one thing I was kind of doing my taxes listening at the same time, and I just caught the tail end of what you said about something about Catholics talking about Muslims.
Well, it wasn't specifically Catholics. Just it's a talking point that I'm seeing more so on the right. It's just a general talking point. That one wasn't aimed at Catholic specific.
Okay, that okay, yeah. Because yeah, one thing I've been a Catholic all my life, and one thing they do tell you, which I was guilty a long time ago about it too. I used to like, well, we're right and they're wrong. No, that's not the way Catholics work. And the priest told us that, hey, we believe in what we believe, but we don't make fun of other religions. So I just wanted to clarify that. But you're not doing that. You're start talking about those right guys, those idiots over there on the right hand side there.
Yeah, just the extremists. I think a lot of Americans do understand, that religion and legislation are really supposed to be two separate things. But unfortunately, we get some of the louder, more extreme people, on both sides, saying things like this, and it gets a lot of traction. So that is why I think it's important to have these kind of conversations, just to point out, like you, I'm a Catholic, so it doesn't mean that I don't buy into the Catholic Church's typical view on abortion. Just because we're Catholic doesn't mean we need to believe everything, that the church or the religion does. It to me, it's more of a way of life. Like I said, it's our faith. It's what drives us.
And
that's
hey,
what it's supposed to be.
One other thing is, if you think about it, there are Catholics that probably do shun other religions. So yeah. But I appreciate the call or taking
Thanks,
my
Pete.
call.
I appreciate your support, brother. God bless. All right. So number 2, I believe we have Frank. Hey, Frank, how you doing, man?
How you doing, Ryan?
Good. Very good. Thanks for tuning in today.
I want to tell you that I really applaud you for your service for this country.
Thank you, Frank.
I'm honored.
Appreciate that.
My family is military. I lost a nephew in a 3-time in the Middle East tour.
I'm sorry to hear that.
From the Middle East with cancer of the throat, second stage, and he died from it.
Oh, wow. Like Agent Orange or?
No, when they had the burnt fires out there.
Oh, the burn pits. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
He ended up getting cancer, second stage cancer of the throat. And he lasted as long as he could, and he died. But I have one thing I want to say, or a comment.
Yes, sir.
So the Republican Party wants to save the act. Why don't Democrats propose, if they want that they should, the Republican Party should bring out the FC's files and name all the names out in public.
What do you mean, like horse trade, basically?
Yeah.
Like we'll give you the SAVE Act, but you got to release all the. I mean, hey, I'm not opposed to that. 2 reasons. One, I don't think you'd ever release them all, so I don't think we'd ever have anything to worry about. But yeah, look, I know a lot of us want to see the files, but I keep reminding folks too, we really have to multitask right now. Like everything isn't just a distraction from those files.
But
go ahead. Sorry.
They would back down because they don't want to do that, and they would not. It would show everybody that it's true about everything. That they would never bring it out. They would never bring it out because if they
I don't think so.
propose that, it just shows that they're never going to do it. They know it's so much damage that could do to the country.
Yep, totally agree with you, Frank. You got no argument for me.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. And again, thank you everybody for calling in, for watching today. I know that you're so used to seeing Brian on here, but hopefully a little flavor change is good for you. I believe next up we have John. So, John, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that, sir.
Oh, sure. A quick thing, because I know there's other callers. I think the reason Republicans keep wanting to flip the script is because they don't want to go down the road the German people did after World War II.
In terms of what?
Well, if you ever seen the movie Spencer Tracy, where he at Nuremberg, where he asked the German family that he's staying with, what was it like under Hitler? They have nothing to say because of what the bad things the Nazis did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was hell in Germany after World War II when the Allies went in and had to take the place.
Yeah. And that I watched the new Nuremberg, and I actually tweeted on one of Pete Hegseth things. I said, go watch the movie Nuremberg, because that's your future, dude. Like, that's literally the road you're going down. And it's really upsetting that more people don't see the correlations between some of the atrocities that were done back then, during World War II, and what we're doing now. Like, these detention centers that we're building, you might as well call those concentration camps.
Absolutely.
So, no, again, I totally agree, John. And I hope more people start realizing how close we are to falling into that. And I'm just going to exclamation point on that, John, is now we're starting to see why Donald Trump and the Republican Party were so upset when Senator Mark Kelly and his colleagues said, you have a duty not to accept unlawful orders, because they're coming.
And I hope that our military will be like the French military when they were forced to mutiny because they were being issued stupid orders.
Man, again, as a veteran, I hope it doesn't come to that, because that's not supposed to be our job. You know what I mean? Like, we're supposed to. I was an aircraft mechanic. My job is to show up, fix the airplane, and make sure the pilot, gets up there and has reliable equipment. That was my job. I should not be having to save the country from illegal orders like that. Like, it should be handled way up above our heads. But when you have loyalists like, Pete Hegseth, who've been given this Department of War moniker, this is what we get. We get a reality TV show. A dangerous one. But thank you, John. Appreciate you, brother. I'm loving these calls, by the way. So I think next up we have Jason. You there, buddy?
Yeah, you ready?
Yes, sir. Is this Jason?
Oh, first of all, thank you for your service. Number one.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate that.
The reason why we're here, I don't wish death on anybody, but Robert Mueller is the reason why this is even possible. Because if you wouldn't have interfered in the election on the last minute with Hillary Clinton, we wouldn't be in this trouble right now. Last but not least, and this is the one that affects me and bothers me the most, all the people that serve, especially my stepfather, all my grandfather, uncles, all that. This is the saddest part. All the people that served in Iraq and Afghanistan, why are they laying down and letting this happen? Because y'all still have weapons in your houses. Y'all still have guns. And don't let this government come and think they could take us over. I just watched CNN last night, and the right-wing white nationalists want to become a theocracy. They want to take control of everything. They want us to all bow down. And so here's the thing.
That's already started, brother.
Yeah, but I need to ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
There's going to be a 250th anniversary. How are we going to celebrate when we got this moron in office? How do we celebrate 250 years of anniversary of this country, and yet we got a guy that wants to be a dictator? Tell me, how's that possible?
I'm so glad you asked me that question, because nobody has, and I've never talked about it on air. It makes me sick to my stomach, if I'm being quite honest with you. Like you, and thank your family for their service. My family's done over 100 years of military service combined, and I've buried my father with a flag over his casket. I've buried friends, and all in protection of this country that we love, and this experiment in democracy.
Yeah, but
so to see, just to see.
Can I ask this question, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, you're a serviceman. You served this country.
Yeah.
You've seen your brother die. I'll never forget the story my stepfather told me when he was in Vietnam and coming back so messed up in the brain. So the point I'm asking, how did we even allow this draft-dodging moron to be this powerful in office with dementia? I just don't get it. And most important part, how is he allowed to stand when people are coming in on coffins with a hat and so disrespectful? I knew he was going to be disrespectful when he did John McCain, but to have the servicemen with the flag draped over their coffin and this moron with a hat on, I just want to punch him in the face.
I know, brother. I can feel, your anger, and it's justified. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. And I wish I had better answers for you of why we've allowed this to happen. But the reality is, we've discovered that the system is very broken, and that billionaires and criminals have taken over our government. And until we fix that, we're not going to be able to stop anything. But in terms of the hat and how disrespectful he is, what bothers me about that is I know how things like that go. And there's always somebody there managing. So it's like somebody be there to be like, hey, take that hat off, or hey, straighten your tie up. But there's always somebody there doing those things. So the fact that nobody had the stones to go up to him and be like, sir, you really should take that hat off. It's disrespectful. The fact that didn't happen, but it didn't happen when he did the what was it? He did the speech at the what was it? The Naval Academy, I think it was. Correct me in the comments. But he wore a hat there, his little USA or MAGA hat or whatever. And I'm like, nobody told him to take that off? That's not, like, no. Again, like Ron Filipkowski said in the beginning of the show, when you're in the military, it's not like we stand around talking politics. We don't. Like, it's actually pretty avoided, because it can be so divisive. And when you're working on an airplane, when you're in an engine bay and you got somebody watching to make sure nobody starts the engine up, you're trusting that person with your life. And the way that some of us feel about Trump voters and Trump supporters, and the way they feel about us, let's call it what it is, it's like, do I trust that person the same way I did before I found out what they believe? And that's why politics is supposed to be out of the military.
Do you see us possibly going into a civil war? Do you see us where the right and left go to war in America? Because this is what it pitted. Because we're not paying attention to China and Russia, and we already know, because they already came up and told us that the reason why this is happening is because Russia conned Trump to go into Iran, and so they could get all their money back and build up their industrial complex. And so then there's a chance that because Russia and China are trying to go against us, do you think either we have a civil war or we go World War III? Which one do you decide?
I think we're probably a little closer to World War III right now, but I will also say this. I think we're already in a civil war, and I just think it's being fought differently, right?
Okay.
It's not fought in the battlefields the way we think civil war.
Right.
It's being fought digitally. Like, we're already in the middle of it, but to cap off what you said, and then we're gonna have to move on to another caller. But I love your call, dude.
It's all great.
So somebody told me what's the worst thing that could happen to the United States. And that is for Russia and China to look at each other and say, who do we hate more than each other? And to start working together. Well, I hate to break it to you guys. We're there.
Yep.
So thank you, Jason. You're awesome. Appreciate you, brother. All right. So I believe next we have Alex, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. We got you, Alex.
Say hi.
Yep. Yeah, here I am.
Hey.
Ryan, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Didn't know you was part of the show right now. And I don't know if you remember me, but we used to follow each other on X, but I left X because it was getting too ridiculous. So
you probably made the better choice there.
More than likely. So a couple things. So first I want to address the prompt as far as good. I'm glad he's dead. The thing is I know MAGA is still going to find a way to justify this, because the thing is, Trump will always be held. I mean, people like you and me, we will always be held to a much higher standard than he ever will. Fact. When we do something, we're all jacked up. We are terrible, evil, awful people. When Trump does it, he's just being hyperbolic. He just don't, you're taking him out of context. But what about this one time? That's all they do. Why? Yeah. Because they have absolutely no shame. They need the grift. They need to stay loyal to Trump, because if they don't stay loyal to Trump, they lose what? His endorsements, because he has that much power over them. And
that's the crazy part, is that nobody in the Republican Party, especially after January 6th, that they didn't have the guts to pull the plug on this dude. Like, again, all the Senate had to do after the Democrats impeached him, not once, but twice, all they had to do was vote to convict. He wouldn't have gone to jail. He just would have never been able to run for president again. So, if you really want to go to the root of why we're here in this second Trump administration, it's because of the Senate. So everybody that refused to vote to impeach him during those impeachments, that's who I hold responsible, because we could have made sure this dude never saw political office again, but they didn't have the courage to do it.
They had absolutely no conviction whatsoever. But this is why I tell people, I also tell people, don't try to impeach him, because it's not because I don't want him gone. It's because we don't have nearly enough juice.
Nope. And we'll be left with egg on our face. 100%.
Exactly. But this is why what we need to do is we need to, if we want to win the midterms, first things first, we need to attack what the issues that everybody is directly impacted by, and the Democrats need to double down it. But also, if you want to get Trump in a tailspin, do what Gavin Newsom is doing by attacking his vanity, because then he won't stop talking about it. That's it. His vanity is his most important commodity. That's 100%. What he wants more than
his weakest, his weakest attribute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Donald Trump is losing his mind, and I think we are seeing the tailspin. My question is, how long is it going to last? And because I predicted when he first won, and I think I predicted it before even when I said, if he wins, they're going to find a way to have him step down, resign, or whatever, pull a Nixon, and JD is going to give him a pardon on his way out. Which is why I think he's doing all this crazy stuff, because they're just going to pardon him for whatever on his way out.
Yeah, absolutely. And from one veteran to another, appreciate your service. And I appreciate you standing up against this, because we need to speak up and we need to mobilize. We need grassroots, because it's only going to get worse if the Republicans win the midterms. So
100%. Yep. Thank you. Appreciate the support too.
Later.
Have a good one, brother. All right. Next, I believe we have Daniel. Correct.
Yeah, how you doing?
Hey, Daniel, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I want to start off with I love your hat, go Lions.
Yes. I was hoping a Lions fan would call in. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
All right. What's going on, man?
So I just want to say, I'm Republican, right? But there's a catch. I don't support what Trump said at all about he's glad that man was dead. I don't agree with that. That isn't what I stand for. That is the furthest from what I stand for. I don't stand for violence at all or supporting violence.
That seems to be the majority of the response to that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully.
And I don't completely agree with this war, because I know people who've been in war before. This is just a slap in the face, I feel like, to a lot of these people.
Well, it is. And, unfortunately, it's being, when we sign up to go in the military, it's idealistic. You're doing it because you feel like you're being patriotic. But at the end of the day, it's a job. And we have to follow orders to a certain degree. And, we're there to carry out whatever agenda is happening. And I can tell you firsthand that, a lot of us that were in, right after 9/11 and, I was in from 03 to 07, and a lot of people battle with, did we do the right thing? Should we have invaded Iraq? Should we have been in Afghanistan? Did we do it the right way? Was there even justification? And knowing everything that led to that, it feels like Groundhog Day. It feels like deja vu, like we just didn't learn that, the government didn't listen to the veterans that came back and with all the things they had wrong and why. And here we are getting walked right into a almost identical situation. Oh, they had nukes, they had weapons of mass destruction. No, they didn't. So like you said, is it justified? No. When we sign up for the military, we know that war is what we're kind of signing up for, but we always hope that there's a justified reason for it. And it sounds like Republicans like yourself and Democrats like myself, that we are on the same page of this is one of those instances where it was not justified and we didn't need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from, because, like, even though we support generally two different things, I'm glad that we can all sort of come to a fair agreement on something here.
Well, listen, that's what we're supposed to be doing, right, Daniel? Like at the end of the day, when I run for office, I do it realizing that I'm not just going to represent the people that voted for me. I'm going to represent everybody in my district, even the people that voted against me. And that's what we need to get back to, is realizing that at the end of the day, you're an American, I'm an American. We clearly care about our country. We care about the future of our country. We just happen to disagree on a few of the avenues to get there. But as we're starting to find out now by these conversations, is that we have a lot more in common right now than we don't. And that the division between us really isn't as wide as they want us to think it is. So that's why these conversations are important, that we do say, hey, yeah, no, we can disagree on abortion, whatever the main key issues we disagree on. But here's the things that we do agree on. And that's exactly the way the conversation starts. And I appreciate you for being willing to come on and say, hey, I'm a Republican, but, because that but is how these conversations start, and that we get headed in the right direction. So thank you. All right. Next, we have Dave, right? I think we got Dave up. You there, Dave? Uh-oh. I hear the background, but I don't hear Dave. Okay, Dave, we're going to have to move on, buddy. Dave. Okay, guys, sorry, we're going to have to move on. So next up, we have Andy. Andy, we got you, buddy?
Oh, yeah. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for your service.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah, hey, I just want to say that, anyway, that tweet that orange turd tweeted out yesterday, I showed a couple of my Republican friends, and they think it's fake news. And I go, yeah, of course you guys do. And then, another thing that's pathetic, Fox News didn't even put that up. They did not put that up. Nope. It's not surprising to me. They didn't even put it up there. And so anyway, I've had it with my MAGA friends. Believe me, I'm a registered Republican living in Florida, and I have told people I will never ever vote for Republican again after this crap show. This is absolutely pathetic. It's embarrassing, and I just can't understand why these maggots believe everything that comes out of his mouth. He's just, he's a oh man.
They're going to have to write books about it. I mean, let's call it what it is.
Right.
You know, we had a caller a few calls ago comparing what we're kind of seeing to World War II in Germany. And it's like, I know some people think that that's an exaggeration, but it really isn't. You know, the unquestioned following that this guy has been able to cultivate is very, very similar to that guy, you know, back then.
So
go ahead.
What if Joe Biden would have tweeted something like that yesterday about Mueller? I mean,
they'd be dragging him out of office. They'd have impeachment paperwork drawn up already.
Oh my God, the Republicans would have a freaking meltdown.
100%, without question.
It's pathetic. But I mean, every morning before I get out of bed, I go, Alexa, is Donald Trump still alive? And of course, she has to ruin my day.
Well, I'll tell you what, after that tweet, I definitely will not feel bad for when that time comes, because I do not celebrate anybody's loss of life, because I believe in karma. But Donald Trump is one exception that I'm going to exercise.
I actually have told my Republican friends, say, you know what? The day that he passes away, I'm going to celebrate like it's 1999, and I'm going to go on a binge drinking festival, but I don't even drink. It's going to be the best day of my life. And I told him that, and I don't give a flying crap. And you know what? You know what else is pathetic? The whole world will be celebrating his death.
Yes. To the point that I think the next Democratic president should make the day he dies a federal holiday.
There you go. Amen, brother.
Just planting seeds, everybody. Just planting seeds. Hey, Andy, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Have a good one.
You too, man. All right, next up, I think we have Sangria. Sangria, you still here?
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Is this Ryan the line?
It's Ryan.
How you doing, Ryan the line? It's Sangria, baby.
How you doing?
I'm good. I just want to tell you, you're doing a good job, and I love you. That's all I want.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I definitely could use that right now. So
a couple days a week.
Oh, thank you. Where are you at?
I want to tell you, I'm in Baltimore.
Oh, Baltimore. I lived in Dover, Delaware. I worked at the base there for a while. I used to come to Baltimore all the time.
Okay.
I actually love it there.
Okay.
Down by the water there by the bay. I used to go down there a lot. So it's beautiful there. But like everywhere, I'm sure it has its issues.
Yeah. You know we do. You know.
Yes, ma'am.
Ryan the line.
Thank you so much for calling in, and thank you for the support. Love you. All right, next up, I believe we have Andy. You there, Andy?
Hey.
Hey, buddy.
Here I come. Hello?
Hey, is this Andy?
Hey, this is Andy. What's up, Ryan?
Not much. How you doing?
Well, I hope Daniel's still listening, that sweetheart. Tell him to suck it, all right? Daniel's not an American, all right, because he's a Republican. We don't agree on anything. We don't agree on the basics of being an American. Being an American is willing to pay your taxes for your neighbor's education. It's willing to pay your That's the whole thing about Republicans. They don't want to participate. That's the problem. We can't keep on compromising with these terrible people. I don't want MAGA here. MAGA.
Yeah, I mean,
traitors.
Look, man.
So Daniel, you could kiss my ass. Anyway, Ryan, you're doing a great job. But what do you think about Tim Pool?
Personally,
I hate
the guy.
Russian agent. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So tell Brian next, because he never listens to me. He's like, oh, well, him taking money from Russia, that's his personal finances. No, it's not. Tell him to stop talking to Tim Pool. He's a terrible human being. He's a Russian asset. And all we're doing is helping Russia here. I'm telling you, when this is all over in the history books, they're never going to stop laughing about how stupid we were that we let this go on for 10, 11, 12 years of them just constantly we're a laughing stock. The whole world hates us. We're trying to take Greenland, Canada. I mean,
it's all pretty terrible, isn't it? When you put it like that. Yeah, no, it is, man. And I don't disagree with you, man. And I definitely agree that there are certain things that we as the left, Democrats, whatever you want to call us, that there are definitely things that we need to stop compromising on. But at the same time, that anger that we all feel, and trust me, brother, I feel it. It isn't going to get us pulled away from the edge. So at some point, we are going to need the adults in the room to take over and start fixing this. And burying our feet in the sand and refusing to budge on everything isn't going to get us there. That said, there are definitely many, many things that we do not need to negotiate on. And I've said many times, the first Democrat that comes out running for president in 2028 and says that their first day that they are going to sign an executive order stating anything signed by a convicted felon is null and void from this day forth. And that in and of itself would remove everything Donald Trump had ever done to our government. So that would be my plan. But look, man, I appreciate that. And you are not alone in your anger. Trust me. I just can't curse on this show, so I'm trying to be good. Next up, we have Ramona. Ramona, how are you doing?
Hi, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for calling in.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks for your service, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Also, my son also was he served in the U.S. Army from 2003 to 2007.
Oh, same time as me.
Tours, two tours in Iraq, and he's severely disabled. And what really irritates me about this war is, they treat these, our military with such disrespect that they don't care, if they get any help when they come back. My son, since they gutted the VA like they have, he's had to change doctors 3 times in the last couple of months. And Saturday is another No Kings protest.
Yeah.
And we're going to attend that. My husband and I are going to attend. And we were told, not to engage the MAGAs because there's supposed to be MAGA counter protesters there. We were told,
yeah, I'm sure there will be.
Oh yeah, and we were told not to engage them, and if they approach us, just turn our backs on them. But the rumor is that they're going to be armed. Now, if they're armed, I'm not turning my back on anybody. If they put their hand on me, I'm going to defend myself.
We actually that.
He said,
go ahead. Sorry.
He said, don't do that because they don't. That's the last thing that we want to do is let MAGA, think that we are the violent ones. But if someone puts their hand on me, I'm going to defend myself. I'm sorry.
Well, I agree with you, and I'll actually put an exclamation point on that. Part of what got me into doing this was in 2019, a 19-year-old in Sierra Vista put together a Black Lives Matters march, and she started getting threatened by the local MAGA Muppets. And I went on social media without a following at all, and I simply made a video saying, well, since you guys want to threaten this 19-year-old, I said, I'm going to be there, doing security with my Glock. And and what happened next was a bunch of veterans contacted me directly and said, hey, we want to join you and come protect this march and this 19-year-old. And that's what happened. Like 6-7 of us all met up and came up with a plan. We were all armed. And sure enough, the counter protester showed up. Woman stopped her car in the middle of like a highway, like a 3-lane highway, gets out of her car and starts physically assaulting, those of us on the side of the road. And, she put her hands on one woman, and one of the security people got in between and tried to get her to stop. She kept going. So he bear sprayed her in the face real quick, just once. And then she kept going for him and like really put her hands on him. So then she, I think he darn near emptied the bottle on her. And the reason I tell you that is that the guy that did the bear spray ended up being charged. The woman was not charged for stopping her car, getting out, and physically assaulting anybody. They charged him for responding. Now, they called me to be a witness because I was there and had it all on camera. And I said everything very matter-of-factly, and then they asked me at the very end if there was anything I wanted to add. I said yes. I was like, the individual that you've charged with this, I just wanted to point out that he had a 9mm on his thigh, and he had an AR-15 around his neck, and he chose the bear spray. Yeah, they dropped the charges 2 days later.
Okay.
So they're not wrong. Be careful because they can charge you. But at the end of the day, if somebody stops their car and gets out and starts putting their hands on you, it's like my old man used to say, I better not find out you ever started a fight. But if somebody starts one with you, you better finish it.
Yeah, but they just told us to turn our backs on them. Don't engage, don't fight back. No, somebody.
Well, the minute they touch you or the minute they pull a weapon on you, that's different. And I kind of agree. You turn your back on them, you can't see what they're doing. Like, to me, that's kind of asking for it. Turning your back on them or standing there and looking them dead in their eyes, as long as you don't react until they touch you, it's the same thing to me. But I like to see it coming. Maybe that's just me.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm not turning my back.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would either. But hey, stay safe out there, and thank you for the reminder, guys. If check in your city, there are going to be protests across the nation. I'm going to do my best to make the one here in Tucson, but per usual, I'm a soccer coach for my kids, so my Saturdays, especially the mornings, are usually taken up. But I do hope to get out there after our soccer games, and please stay safe out there. That's the most important thing. Everybody, make it home. That's what I want to see. And there is a point to be made there of, yes, we do want to keep it peaceful because we've managed to do that in all of these protests up to date. The only time a protest has gotten unpeaceful is if somebody showed up and became an agitator. We have not been showing up to cities and causing damage. We're just showing up using our First Amendment rights. So let's continue to do it and continue to be a good example. All right, next up, I believe we have Nathalie. Is that correct?
It's Nathalie.
Nathalie.
Yes.
Outstanding. Hey, Nathalie, how are you doing?
Fine. Thank you, Nathalie. Yes, that's correct.
Awesome.
I just wanted to say hello.
Hi.
Nathalie.
Thanks for calling in.
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. And I did go to an ICE protest, and I've actually been to many protests in my life. I protested the Vietnam War, and I just wanted to say hi to a fellow veteran and say thank you for your service.
And thank you for yours, ma'am. Thank
I'm
you.
a Vietnam veteran.
Appreciate that. Appreciate your service. And appreciate you still showing up. Seriously.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. I'm just still out there protesting. Probably will be doing that my whole life.
You know what? I hate the fact that you still have to be out there, after all these decades, and especially still fighting some of the same fights. But like I said, appreciate you still showing up. And thank you for the support.
Fighting nice in this town. Fighting nice in this town.
That's awesome. I love hearing that people are going to be showing up this weekend because this is what we want. We want people to show up, use their voice, and the biggest thing that we can do to hurt somebody with the ego that Donald Trump has is show up with our signs that make fun of him and call him out and point out all the crimes and everything. Because my favorite one is Donald Trump has a longer criminal history than 99% of the people he's trying to deport. So next up, I think we have Dave. We got a few more calls. We got I think we got about 10 more minutes. So I'm going to try to get through everybody that's waiting. So Dave, you up?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Dave?
All right.
Awesome.
So let me get to all right. So basically, here's the thing. By calling Trump this, by calling Trump that, people, let's just put it out there. Come on. I'm going to tell you right now, he's there for 2 years, whether you like it or not. He's going to be there as much as I don't like him either. Stop with the formalities. It's not getting through to anybody. We know that he's going to be there for 2 years. And I know you don't like to hear that, but we have him. We have him there. Now, if I was you, I probably would not want to fly or be in the airport, because that's where ICE is. And I predicted this war. I predicted this war 3 weeks before Brian, letting them know that we were going to go to war. And everybody was just like sitting there thinking, oh, we're not going to go to war. Yes, we are going to go to war. And then I was right about that. I was right about that the ICE is going to start arresting people in the airports. Yes, and there's going to be more of them. I would not probably fly, which is probably stupid. That's number two. Number three, these lines are going to be bigger than ever before, and people are going to be quitting. He doesn't want to pay the TSA. He doesn't want them there. He wants to use this ICE to control that airline so they can arrest more people. Now, I know you guys don't want to hear that, but it's going to happen. And yes, we are going to war, and it's going to get much deeper. They're going to be doing more ground troops in Iran. And you know what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you right now, people. I'm going to predict this. And I don't know if you know the Iraq war like I did, when Vic Burge was basically decapitated. I don't know if you remember that. He was decapitated. And you know what that means? They cut his head open. So I'm just letting you know, if I was in the military, and if I knew I was going on the ground, in Iran, I would turn down my stuff. I'm not going there. You throw me in jail, because I know how they kill people. They shoot them and then they cut them. They cut their head open. So I'm just letting you know, it's going to get nasty and Brian agrees with me. That's what they're going to do. They fight to kill. And they are dirty people when it comes to killing human beings, and they don't care. They decapitate like animals. It's bad there. So I'm just telling you, just understand me. It's going to happen. Don't send people there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
The point?
I mean, you know, I had people saying we were going to go to war with Iran 3 months ago. You know, I don't think
I knew already too.
I don't think a lot of what we're seeing is a surprise to people that are paying attention or have much experience. And
well, if you don't know by now, if you haven't studied the Iraq war, when we went over there in 2004, that they decapitated a video for Vic Burge. If people want to actually,
dude, I was serving then. You keep saying you people. Who are you talking to?
I'm just saying. Do you remember? I know what I was following this whole war in Iraq.
What does this have to do with what we're dealing with now? Like you're talking like about 5 different things. Yeah, no, Trump. You keep saying that we need to stop calling Trump names or stop this. Like we need to keep pointing out everything this dude is doing. We need to multitask. We need to point out everything.
I don't like the guy either, but I'm telling you right now. But since he's in control, what are you going to do? You can't do. Nobody's going to impeach him. You know, you better hope that we have.
Honestly, I think we should use 18 USC subsection 2381 on treason and hang the motherfucker. That's what I think. Well, we have the laws to do it. We just need the courage, people with the courage to do it.
Yeah.
No, well, you know something, I hate to tell you. You know, if he declares martial law, which, you know, and saying that we were
coming,
we may not have a midterm. And even Brian said the same thing. That may be possible too.
Which again, 18 U.S. code. Write this down. 18 U.S. code, subsection 2381. The punishment for treason is 10 years in prison or death. That is a law.
Okay. Is the Republicans who control the House and the Senate, are they going to do anything? Probably not, because they're all
because they never have, and they all work for Trump.
Okay,
so that's the problem.
If you know that, then that tells you right off the bat that they ain't going to do nothing for him until his term is over in 2028. And hopefully we don't put another idiot or another a-hole in there that looks like Trump that ends up doing the same thing or continues to be like him. That's the problem with the voters.
Well, I mean, I think that's a much deeper conversation, but
it's in there all the time. I
hear you, man. Listen, I got to get to 2 more callers before we sign off. So we got, next up, is it Casey?
Go to Brian.
Brian.
Hey, yo, what it is, bro? What's up, cuz?
What's up, Brian? How you doing, man?
So, what is your thoughts on, like, racism?
Ooh. Just in general, or do you have something more specific?
Like, like, what's your thoughts on like EBT and SNAP, like the SNAP benefits?
I mean, I don't think the SNAP benefits only benefit the black community, but I'm, and I don't know the numbers of who's accepting what in terms of nationality or race. But I will say just in terms of racism, it's become very evident that this administration does not like anybody that is not white.
1 minute for Casey.
Or loyalists. So, racism is still a problem. Anybody that thinks it's not, or thinks that this administration isn't using it for decisions or anything like that, a little naive. But all right. So our last one, I believe, is Casey. Casey?
Or Casey. Sorry, Casey.
Yep. We got you, Casey. Uh-oh. Casey? I think we lost Casey.
Casey's gone.
Casey's gone.
End the
All
show.
right. Was that our last one?
Si, senor.
Si, senor. All right. So for those of you who tuned in today for my first solo act, thank you. Be gentle. I will do better tomorrow. I have a great producer here that helped me get through the show today. And to all our callers, you were very kind. I definitely appreciate that. I actually had a lot of fun talking to y'all today. That's fun. I hope I can start doing that on my show more regularly. So with that, make sure you tune in tomorrow. We should have another great guest for you, and I'll definitely be taking more calls again. And I'm sure we'll have plenty more Trump videos to go through tomorrow as well. So I'll leave you as I always do with much love. Keep fighting, but most importantly, y'all stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Land safe.
Am I still live?
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna.